Right now, as you are listening to this, thoughts are appearing in your mind, one after another, and it feels like you are the one creating them. But are you? Try something simple right now. Before your next thought appears, choose what it will be. Decide its exact words, its exact feeling, its exact timing. Go ahead. I'll wait. You see, nothing comes. Or if something does come, it arrives uninvited, already formed, as if it slipped in from nowhere. And yet the sensation remains that you are the thinker behind it all. Welcome to the channel Thoughts of Alan Watts. If this resonates with you, take a moment to like the video and share your thoughts in the comments. It helps these quiet conversations reach others who may be lying awake with the same quiet questions. Let us drift together into this gentle inquiry, not as an argument, not as a lesson, but as a kind of soft dissolving, like watching mist rise from a still lake at dawn. Because the idea that you are the thinker, that persistent, exhausting sense of being the one who must manage, control, and author every thought, is perhaps the most subtle illusion we carry. And when it begins to loosen, everything changes. Right now, your mind is doing its usual dance. A memory of yesterday surfaces, a worry about tomorrow follows. A random image of a childhood street appears without reason. It all feels so personal, so owned. But watch carefully. Did you decide to remember that particular moment? Did you schedule the worry to arrive at this exact second? Or did it simply happen? The way rain happens, the way leaves fall, the way the heart keeps beating without your permission. Here is the strange part. Very few people ever notice this. We live our entire lives assuming we are the commander of our inner world. We say, "I think, therefore I am," as if the thinking part is the real me, the boss, the author. But what if the thinking is just another happening, like the wind moving through trees? What if you are not the thinker at all, but the space in which thinking occurs? Let us sit with that for a moment. Feel the breath moving in and out. No effort, no control needed. The body knows how to breathe. The mind knows how to think. Both arise by themselves. And yet somewhere along the way we learn to identify with the stream of thoughts, to claim them as mine. We say, "My thoughts are racing," as if we are personally responsible for the speed. We say, "I can't stop thinking," as if there is a separate I who should be able to press a brake pedal inside the skull. And this is where everything begins to change. Imagine for a moment that you are not the voice in your head, but the one who hears the voice. The voice says, "I need to figure this out," and you simply notice the voice saying that. The voice says, "I am not good enough," and you notice the words floating by like clouds. There is a subtle shift here, a quiet distance, not cold detachment, but a warm, spacious awareness that was always present, waiting to be noticed. Alan Watts often pointed out that we confuse the menu with the meal. We read the description of reality and mistake the reading for the tasting. Thoughts are like the menu. They describe, they label, they narrate. But the actual living, the raw feeling of being alive, happens before the menu is even printed. The thinker is the one who believes the menu is the only reality. The awareness is the one who can set the menu aside and simply taste. Think of your earliest childhood memory, not the story you tell about it, but the actual felt sense of being there. Before language wrapped it up neatly, before I entered the picture and claimed it, there was just seeing, just hearing, just the pure happening of the world. No thinker required. The birds sang and the singing was enough. The sun warmed the skin and the warming was complete. Then somewhere along the line, the mind learned to insert a little character called me, who was supposedly doing all the experiencing. I see the bird. I feel the sun. I am the one who knows. But who is this I that claims to know? Let us look for it together, gently, without forcing. Close your eyes if it feels right, or simply soften your gaze. Now ask, where exactly is the thinker located? Is it behind the eyes? In the center of the chest? In the swirling electrical patterns of the brain? Search for it. Really search. Like a child looking for the end of the rainbow. Most people discover something surprising. The harder you look for the thinker, the more it seems to slip away. Thoughts keep appearing, sensations keep arising, but the supposed author of them all remains strangely absent. Like trying to bite your own teeth, like trying to see your own eyes without a mirror. The seeker and the sought turn out to be the same movement of awareness. There is no separate thinker hiding behind the curtain. There is only this immediate, luminous happening, thinking itself, feeling itself, being itself. And yet the illusion is incredibly persistent. Why? Because it serves a function. The sense of being a separate thinker gives us the comforting story of control. If I am the thinker, then I can improve my thinking. I can become better. I can fix myself. The ego loves this project. It keeps us busy for decades, chasing the next thought that will finally make everything okay. But what if the project itself is the source of the unease? Here is a simple thought experiment that Alan Watts loved to play with. Suppose you decide to stop thinking for the next 10 seconds. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3. Already a thought has arrived, commenting on how hard it is to stop thinking. 4, 5. Another thought wonders if you are doing it right. The mind cannot stop thinking, any more than the heart can stop beating by willpower alone. Thinking is not something you do. It is something that happens through you. Like digestion, like the blinking of your eyes, like the turning of the earth. And this is where a deep relaxation can begin to flower. When you stop believing you are the one who must manufacture every thought, a tremendous burden falls away. You no longer have to police the mind. You no longer have to argue with every passing cloud. You can simply watch, with the same relaxed fascination you might feel while sitting by a river, watching leaves and twigs drift by on the current. Some leaves are beautiful, some are ugly, some carry little insects. It doesn't matter. The river carries them all without preference. The human experience is filled with moments when this truth peeks through. Have you ever been so absorbed in something, making love, creating art, walking in nature, that the inner commentator fell completely silent? In those moments there was no thinker, only pure experiencing. No one was thinking, I am enjoying this. There was just enjoyment happening. No one was thinking, this is beautiful. There was just beauty appearing. The thinker only returns when we step back and start narrating the experience, turning the living meal into a menu again. But here is the strange part. Even the narration is not being done by you. The voice that says, that was a beautiful sunset, is itself another thought arising spontaneously. The sense of, I enjoyed that, is yet another ripple on the surface of awareness. Everything is happening by itself, including the story that says, I am the one making it happen. Let us go deeper. Consider the difference between thinking and awareness. Thinking is the stream, the content, the endless commentary. Awareness is the space in which the stream flows. Most of us live entirely in the stream, tossed about by every current, believing we are the water itself. But when we relax into awareness, we become like the riverbed, stable, open, allowing every drop to pass without resistance. Alan Watts used to say that trying to control the mind with the mind is like trying to bite your own teeth or lift yourself up by your own bootstraps. It creates an endless feedback loop of self-criticism. Why am I still thinking? I should be more present. I'm failing at meditation. And each new judgment is just another thought claiming to be the boss. The loop continues until something in you grows tired of the game, until a quiet laughter arises at the whole ridiculous situation. Imagine a puppet show. The puppets dance and fight and fall in love. The audience becomes completely absorbed, laughing, crying, believing the drama is real. Then one day someone notices the strings, and the hands moving the strings, and the person whose hands they are. But even that person is part of a larger play. There is no ultimate puppeteer standing outside the cosmos pulling levers. The whole universe is dancing itself, thinking itself, dreaming itself. And you, the apparent separate thinker, are one of the dances. Feel that for a moment, the vastness of it. The stars are not out there somewhere. The stars are happening within the same awareness that is hearing these words right now. The galaxies spin, thoughts spin. Both are movements within the same infinite field. There is no inside and outside. There is only this seamless happening, pretending for a while to be a person who thinks. Why does the mind create this sense of identity? Why does it insist on being someone who thinks? Perhaps because the alternative feels too vast, too free, too intimate with the unknown. To release the idea of being the thinker is to release the illusion of separation. And separation, though painful, feels familiar. It gives us borders, a story, a hero's journey with a main character called me. but what remains when the idea of the thinker fades. Not emptiness in the cold sense, not a blank void. What remains is everything, only without the exhausting effort of claiming ownership. The birds still sing, the thoughts still arise, the heart still beats. But now there is no one who has to carry the weight of making it all happen correctly. Life lives itself. Awareness enjoys itself. The dance continues. But the dancer and the dance are no longer two. Let us rest here for a while. No need to understand it all at once. No need to figure anything out. Just notice how thoughts keep coming anyway, even while you are trying to listen to this. Some thoughts agree with what is being said, some resist it. Some wander off into grocery lists and old conversations. All of them are welcome. None of them need to be fixed or stopped or improved. They are weather. You are the sky. Very few people ever notice this because the illusion is so convincing. From the moment we learn language, we are taught to identify with the voice in the head. What do you think? Teachers ask. Tell me your thoughts, friends say. We build entire personalities around our thinking style. The intellectual, the worrier, the dreamer, the critic. We polish these characters, defend them, suffer when they are challenged. But who would we be without them? That question itself is terrifying to the ego and liberating to awareness. Here is another gentle experiment. Next time you feel a strong emotion, anger, sadness, anxiety, instead of immediately becoming the thinker who must analyze it or fix it, simply notice the sensation in the body. Where does it live? In the chest? The belly? The throat? Notice the thoughts that swarm around it. This shouldn't be happening. I need to do something. Why am I like this? Watch those thoughts the way you might watch actors on a stage. Interesting, dramatic, but not ultimately who you are. And this is where everything begins to change. When you stop believing every thought, when you stop identifying as the thinker who must believe them, the emotions themselves start to move differently. They still arise, because life is movement, but they pass through more easily, like clouds in that vast sky. The thinker was the one who grabbed onto clouds and tried to build castles out of them. Awareness simply watches the sky remain sky, no matter what weather passes through. Alan Watts told a beautiful story about a man who dreamed he was a butterfly. When he woke up, he didn't know if he was a man who had dreamed he was a butterfly, or a butterfly who was now dreaming he was a man. The point is not to solve the riddle. The point is to notice that both the man and the butterfly, both the dreamer and the dream, are movements within the same awareness. There is no final answer that the thinker can pin down. There is only the mysterious happening, thinking itself, dreaming itself, waking itself. Let us drift even deeper now. Consider the impossibility of predicting your next thought. Really try. Right now, what will the next word in your mind be? You cannot know. It arrives, fully formed, from the same place your dreams come from the same place your heartbeat comes from. The source is hidden, dark, fertile, beyond the reach of the thinking mind. and yet we spend our lives pretending we are in charge of that source. This is why so much human suffering exists. We believe our thoughts are facts. We believe the stories they tell about who we are, what we deserve, what others think of us. The thinker becomes a judge, a prosecutor, a defense attorney all at once, conducting endless trials inside the skull. You messed up again. You are not enough. They don't really like you. Round and round it goes, exhausting, relentless, until the simple realization dawns. These are just thoughts, appearing, disappearing, like waves on the ocean. The ocean doesn't need to believe its waves in order to be the ocean. Imagine the relief. The mind can still plan, still create, still solve problems, but it does so without the heavy armor of, I must get this right or I am nothing. Creativity flows more freely when it is not being watched and judged by an inner critic who claims to be the real author. Solutions appear more easily when they are not forced by a desperate thinker trying to prove his own existence. The difference between thinking and awareness is like the difference between being lost in a movie and remembering you are sitting in a theater. The movie is still compelling. The characters still feel real. But there is now a gentle space, a soft knowing that this is a play of light and sound, beautiful, temporary, not ultimately binding. You can laugh at the drama, you can cry at the beauty, and when the credits roll, you simply stretch, smile, and walk back into the night air, unchanged at the deepest level. And yet, even this metaphor falls short, because there is no one sitting in the theater separate from the movie. The watcher and the watched, the audience and the screen, are one continuous happening. The universe is watching itself through your eyes. The cosmos is thinking itself through your mind. There is no outside point from which to observe. There is only this intimate, boundless, self-aware mystery. Here is another realization that often comes quietly in the night, when sleep is near and the mind grows tired of its usual games. The sense of being a separate thinker is itself a thought, a very persistent one, but still just a thought. When that thought is seen clearly, without resistance, it loses its power to convince. Not because you argue against it, but because you see it for what it is. Another cloud passing, another leaf on the river. What remains then? Peace. Not the peace of a dead mind, but the alive peace of a mind that no longer fights itself. Thoughts still come, emotions still move, the body still breathes. But there is no longer a central commander who must control the traffic. Life flows. Awareness rests in the flowing. The dance continues, effortlessly. Very few people ever notice this, because society rewards the thinker. We celebrate the busy mind, the productive thinker, the one with strong opinions and clever arguments. We rarely celebrate the one who can sit quietly, watching thoughts arise and pass, smiling at the whole show. And yet those quiet ones often carry a light that others are drawn to, a relaxed presence that feels like coming home. Let us return to the breath for a moment. Feel it moving. In, out. No thinker needed. The air knows what to do. Now notice a thought arising, any thought. Watch it form, linger, dissolve. Who watched it? Not another thought, not a new thinker. Just this open awareness, silent, vast, intimately close. This awareness has no name, no history, no future plans. It is older than time, fresher than this moment, always here, always now. The mind creates the sense of identity by stringing thoughts together into a story. I was born, I grew up, I suffered, I achieved, I am this kind of person. The story feels solid. It feels like a continuous self. But look closely. Each moment of the story is a new thought appearing now. The past is only a memory thought appearing now. The future is only an imagination thought appearing now. The I that supposedly threads through all of it is also just another thought appearing now. This can feel dizzying at first,
like the ground disappearing beneath your feet. But it is actually the ground revealing itself as sky, as open space, as freedom. You were never standing on a solid me. You were always floating in the vastness, pretending to be a little thinker struggling on a tiny planet. And this is where a profound love can begin to emerge. Not the love of a person for other persons, but the love that awareness has for its own play. The cosmos loving itself through every thought, every tear, every laugh. Even the painful thoughts are held in this love. Even the confused thinker is embraced by the awareness that sees through the confusion. Alan Watts often reminded us that we are the universe experiencing itself, not as a metaphor, not as poetry, but as simple fact. The stars exploded long ago, so that your eyes could open and look back at them. The same energy that moves galaxies moves your thoughts. There is no separation. The thinker was the last illusion of separation. When it dissolves, what remains is intimacy beyond words. Let us slow down even more now. Feel the body resting, wherever it is, supported by the earth, held by gravity, breathed by life. Thoughts may still wander. That is fine. Let them. They are not a problem. There is no test here, no goal to achieve. Only this gentle invitation to notice what has always been true. You were never the thinker. You are the hearing of thoughts. You are the seeing of sights. You are the feeling of feelings. You are the vast open space in which all experiences arise and fall away. Like waves, like dreams, like stars reflected in a still mountain lake. And when the idea of the thinker fades, something beautiful happens. Action still happens. Kindness still flows. Creativity still blooms. But now it arises from a deeper place. A place without anxiety, without the need to prove anything. The mind becomes a servant rather than a master. It thinks when thinking is useful, rests when resting is needed, no longer at war with itself. Here is a short story Alan Watts might have enjoyed. There was once a king who was troubled by his racing mind.
He called his wisest advisor and said, "Make my mind quiet, or I will have you executed." The advisor smiled and said, "Your Majesty, I can do that. But first you must bring me the quietest thing in the kingdom." The king searched for days. He brought the softest silk, the stillest pond, the gentlest music. Each time the advisor shook his head. Finally, the king sat down exhausted and said, "I give up." In that moment of giving up, the mind grew quiet. The advisor bowed and said, "There it is, Your Majesty. The quietest thing was always the space between your efforts." The story is not about forcing the mind to stop. It is about seeing that the effort to control is itself the noise. When the effort relaxes, the natural quiet is revealed, not as absence, but as presence, alive, aware, complete. Very few people ever notice this, because we are trained from childhood to be good thinkers, to have correct opinions, to solve problems with thought. No one teaches us how to rest as awareness. No one shows us that the deepest intelligence often arises when thinking falls silent. We fear the silence because we fear losing ourselves. But what we actually lose is only the illusion, the heavy armor, the endless job of being someone. What we gain is unspeakable, a lightness, a humor, a deep okayness with whatever arises. Thoughts of failure come, and they are seen as thoughts. Thoughts of greatness come, and they are seen as thoughts. The sky remains the sky. The awareness remains aware, smiling gently at its own creations. Let us consider the suffering that belief in the thinker creates. Every time we believe a painful thought, we suffer. I am worthless, suffering. They shouldn't have done that, suffering. I need to be different, suffering. The thinker grabs the thought and says, "This is true. This is me." Awareness simply sees the grabbing, the believing, the suffering, and holds it all without judgment. In that holding, the grip begins to loosen, not through force, but through seeing. This is not positive thinking. This is not replacing bad thoughts with good ones. This is seeing that all thoughts, good and bad, are equally transparent, equally temporary, equally unreal as ultimate truth. The good thoughts feel nicer, but they too will pass. The awareness that sees them does not pass. It is the constant, the groundless ground, the home we never left. And slowly, as the seeing deepens, something extraordinary happens. You begin to trust life more. Not because life has become safer or more predictable, but because you see that you are not a separate thinker trying to survive in a hostile universe. You are the universe, thinking, feeling, exploring itself in the form of a human being. Every challenge is the cosmos playing with itself. Every joy is the cosmos celebrating itself. Every quiet moment is the cosmos resting in itself. The illusion of the thinker was never a mistake. It was part of the play. The universe pretending to be lost so it could enjoy the game of being found. The ocean waving so it could delight in being a wave. The awareness dreaming it was a worried thinker, so it could wake up laughing at the dream. Here is the calm release that comes when this is seen. No more fighting the mind, no more trying to be a better thinker, no more exhausting inner conversations about whether you are doing life right. Instead, a soft allowing. Thoughts come, you notice them. They go. Feelings rise, you feel them. They pass. Life moves through you, as you, without resistance. Imagine lying in bed at night, the way you might be right now, listening to these words as sleep approaches. Usually the thinker takes over, replaying the day, planning tomorrow, worrying about everything that might go wrong. But tonight, something different can happen. You can simply watch the thinker doing its thing, without joining the conversation. The thoughts about tomorrow arise, and you smile, knowing they are just thoughts. The worries about yesterday appear, and you let them float by, like distant music. The body relaxes more deeply, the breath slows, and in that space, sleep comes naturally, not as escape, but as another beautiful movement of awareness, dreaming new dreams. You were never the thinker, and that changes everything. Not because you have finally understood something complicated, but because you have stopped pretending to be something you never were. The pretending was tiring. The stopping is rest. The rest is home. Let us linger here a little longer. Feel how the body is breathing itself. Feel how sounds are hearing themselves. Feel how thoughts are thinking themselves. There is no center that owns any of it. There is only this wide open field of experiencing, boundless, intimate, alive. And in this field, everything is allowed. The confusion, the clarity, the doubt, the certainty, the noise, the silence. All of it arises, plays for a while, and returns to the same silent awareness that never left. Very few people ever notice this, but you are noticing now, not as an achievement, not as a new identity called the one who gets it, just as a simple, quiet, obvious seeing. Like noticing that the sky is blue, like noticing that water is wet, like noticing that you are aware. The idea of being the thinker dissolves gently now, like sugar in warm tea, like mist in morning sun, like a dream upon waking. What remains is not a new belief. What remains is this immediate, wordless, living presence, hearing these final words, feeling the breath, sensing the space around you, resting in the deep okayness of being. There is nothing to do now. Nowhere to go, no one to become. The thinker was always a guest, a character in the play, a wave forgetting it was ocean. And now, in this soft moment, the wave remembers, not with words, not with effort, just with a deep, silent, smiling relaxation. The stars are still shining somewhere beyond the roof. The earth is still turning. The mind may still wander into tomorrow or yesterday. That is fine. Let it. You are not the wanderer. You are the space the wandering happens in. You are not the dreamer. You are the dreaming. You are not the thinker. You never were. And in that never was, everything is suddenly, profoundly, effortlessly okay. The voice fades now, softer, slower, into the quiet. Thoughts may still come and go, like gentle waves lapping at the shore of a vast ocean. But the ocean rests, unmoved, infinite, at peace. You are that ocean, always have been, always will be, even when the waves forget. Rest now. Breathe. Listen to the silence that remains when the words end. It has been here all along, welcoming you home. Nothing more needs to be said. Nothing more needs to be thought. Just this.